today. I really appreciate your time and your energy to be here. I know that there's a million things you could be doing and you decided to be with us today, and that is amazing. You're awesome. Something I do want to ask you is, if you can, please close out any other windows that you might have on your computer that are open. This will, one, prevent any lag from happening during our presentation, and two, you decided to join us today and focus on this topic, so it'll help you to focus on this topic that's at hand. To introduce myself, I am Sydney Jackson Cloxton, and I wear many hats. I wish I had all my hats by me. But I am a business strategist. I work with the Kite and Dart Group. I don't work for them, but I work with them, working with entrepreneurs who are impact driven, pretty much entrepreneurs who give a darn about what they do in the world. And then I also own Sydney Star Travel and Events. So I plan events and I plan travel for folks, and I keep sustainability in mind while they're doing their travels or while they're planning their events. So that's me in a nutshell. I started this discussion panel, monthly discussion panel talk, because I had noticed that especially in the Denver community, there's not a lot of opportunity that was open for me, being an entrepreneur of color and also wanting to make an impact in my community through the environment, something that was social, or something that had to do with making a change, economically to my community. And so ever since then, I've been finding other entrepreneurs and working with entrepreneurs who do those things, and it's been amazing. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. I guess we'll start with Cecelia. We'll start with you. Could you please let us know in one word, what would you describe your business? And then tell us a little bit about your business.
Okay. One word would be caring. And the business started with me doing more natural, living more holistic and healthier, and specifically my hair. And in that process is when I was introduced to clay. And clay, the more research that I did on clay, the more I found out how versatile it is and how wonderful it is. So it's totally amazing. So for my granddaughter, she was able to reduce her acne 50% in less than 2 weeks. And this was the biggest eye-opener for me, that I felt like I needed to share my experience with everyone. So I started out looking for something that could help people use clay more. I was wondering why, with all the benefits that clay has, how come more people aren't using it? So I designed a tool. It's now patent pending. And my purpose was to help make it easier to use clay. So I did research on why the avid clay users were not using clay. And I came up with all their pain points. And the tool that I have designed, which I call the kneader, takes care of that. So you have clay at the point of use. You can make larger batches, so you don't have to keep making small batches. The tool is designed to keep the tray hydrated for more than a year. I have tested it, but most people don't keep it that long. And it's designed where you can hang it at the point of use in the shower or wherever. So now you have hydrated clay instantly for someone who doesn't have the time to be a mixologist and make the clay. And so that was the beginning of ClayLove, and I was so passionate about it and wanted to, my journey is to share everyone the education that comes with clay. My job is tough because it has a large educational component to it. And so the caring part comes with me doing all that I can to share this information, and I care about using it for health purposes and for beauty purposes as well. So that's kind of like in a nutshell, ClayLove.
Thank you so much. And my team at Glow Gather, would you all please like share, you might have a similar word or the same word, that's okay. But for each of you, share the one word you would just use to describe your business, and then give us your name and what your business is.
Hi, I'm Cecelia Parikh. I am one of the co-founders of Glow and Gather. I decided to use the word thoughtful for our brand just because we like to interact and think of others. Like the other day, we had to adapt and make another product that didn't have coconut oil just so that we could help another person who was allergic to coconut oil. So that's my thoughtful, but my part of the brand is that I run the Glow side. If you couldn't tell, I do the body butters, the lip balms, the travel butters, the scrubs. Like that is my part of the brand. And I actually started it because I couldn't use anything on the market. It was causing me to break out, and I would just get hives and blisters, and it was just really bad for my skin. So I talked to my aunt, Saya, and we came up with the ingredients and we made it together and we gave it out as Christmas presents, and that kind of started the rolling of the ball to create Glow and Gather.
Go backwards.
Hi. Okay, I'll go next. My name is Sarita, and I am also the co-founder of Glow and Gather, Jaxon Parik's aunt. And my word is authenticity. And I think we try to be as authentic as possible with not only our products, but also just with our values and how we run our company. And we try to infuse that into the culture of the company and how we inspire others to be within their lives, to inspire them to really be authentic and glow from within, and then to authentically come together and create beauty and celebrate and joy in life. And so that's who we are as a company. I think Carola and Jax really convinced me to start this company with them, and that's my journey and how this started. And so the Glow side is, like Carola said, our natural body products, and the Gather side is our home goods. We do natural candles and wine and whiskey tumblers out of old wine bottles, and then cooking spices, which is Jax's line, so I'll let him talk about that. And then so it's all to come together and create community and connect, create some social impact. Environmental sustainability are really the founding principles, and spread some joy.
Okay, so I am Jaxon, and one word I would use to describe my business is joyful, because we really have a lot of fun making the products and connecting with our customers. And then, so to describe my business, so I do the home goods, so I do salts, sugars, and spice blends. So some of my salts are chili lime, caprese salt, and lemon salt, and then some sugars are cinnamon sugar, orange vanilla bourbon sugar, spiced vanilla bean sugar, and then some of our spices are, so we have Bombay masala, which is Indian, part of our Indian Indian heritage, and then we have Harvest Spice Blend. So those are a couple of hours. So yeah, that's my line of my business.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. I am really inspired by both businesses, and I appreciate you being able to give us like just one word to describe you. And that was so beautifully done, because I know, being a business owner myself, I say that my business is transformative. And really, something that I do when I work with other entrepreneurs and stuff is, we look at what is your core value, because no matter what you do in life, as long as you keep to that core value, that one word or those themes, that really does flow throughout your life, no matter what you're doing. I could be out there selling hot dogs, but if I felt like that was transformative and making a difference in someone's life, I would just find so much joy in it. So I appreciate you all for what you do and the impact that you bring to the community by being authentically yourselves. I would also like to know and dig a little bit deeper. I mean, you all did a great job at explaining, you know, what your why was a little bit. I know, especially with Cecelia, ClayLove, you explained what your why was, but you know, that you were on this journey to find a product that worked for you. And the same for Carola, you were saying that you were on this journey to find a product that worked for you, and then it inspired your brother and your aunt. But what is your why? Like, when you go outside of, you know, this is something that I can use, what really makes this business so important to your community? Or what's the driving factor that makes you wake up every day thinking like, I'm so excited to do this? As Jaxon put, like, this is fun. Like, I enjoy this. So can I get some more information onto that?
Yeah, so like something that drives me is because I want to be a culinary chef, but in order to do that, I have to come up with different flavors. And so that really drives me to create more salts and sugars to create that, and flavor-wise and complexity of flavors.
I'm really driven by meeting people. I think that meeting people and understanding their story and getting to know a person is super amazing. I've gotten so many opportunities to meet people because I would have never known them if I was not a business owner and if I wasn't out there talking to people. Like, people have a story more than what they show you, and people should really get to know that before they judge somebody, and I really, really believe in that.
Awesome.
As I talked about before, was the educational component of ClayLove, and that's the most challenging part of my business. Well, one of the things I've set up is a Healthy Me party, and that allows me to go out into the community in different ways. So I have Healthy Me parties, I have Healthy Me workshops, and what I'm doing is bringing individuals together to talk about, you know, natural ways of addressing their cleansing or beauty products, or their hair care, their regimens, and we get together and we just have a great time, have food, drinks, whatever, and everyone just talks about their needs around going and living healthier. And so it brings the community together. We're sharing information. I mean, that community involvement is very important to me, because not only are we coming together, but I'm able to talk about the many, many benefits of clay. So it's not just a mask. You can deep clean with it. You can wash your hair with it. It pulls out bacteria. So it has the aged volcano ash has a magnetic pull. So it attaches bacteria, and that's the biggest benefit of the clay. And so if you pack it under your arm, it's helping if you're not using the conventional deodorants. And if you think about it, you're not adding any ingredients that are harmful for you, like preservatives and perfumes and things. You're adding the minerals that are in the soil, the clay. So not only is it cleaning and pulling out bacteria, it's giving you what your body needs, because everything you put on your skin can be absorbed into your bloodstream. So for me to be able to share that information with the community is part of the big why. I mean, that's the driver for me, just to educate people more about the clay, and not only the clay, but just living healthier. And I've learned so much from having these Healthy Me parties. But yeah, that would be a big part of it.
So for me, I think it's a lot of, again, bringing community together and creating connections and creating an impact and inspiring people for creating a healthier lifestyle, for creating gatherings in their own life to create celebrations, small or big, to bring people back to, yes, we can celebrate beauty and authenticity in our own lives. We can celebrate coming together and create connections, but also not only within their own lives, but as a community as well. We really find it important to bring our culture into everything we do, so that we're also bringing diversity and who we are and inclusion, and really creating a sense of community around that. We're really trying to create community partnerships with other local businesses, local vendors and suppliers, and nonprofits to really see how we can make an impact and motivate people and inspire people to come together and do more, really, together.
I love that. I know I find myself, and a lot of times when I speak to other entrepreneurs who are impact driven, you know, especially to something Cecelia alluded to, is that education component. It can be at first a little daunting to think like, oh, like no one gets what I'm doing. But then once you actually like, you know, you're not only finding the folks who do get what you do, but you're also helping to educate new people onto what you do. It is just so amazing, and it feels great. And then I know, Sarita, with what you were saying is, you know, bringing in your culture and to your product and sharing that and using your products as an expression of yourself and what I consider to be like home is so amazing to me too. And it's also proof that I know a lot of times folks think, oh, someone may not be interested in what I have to offer or what my service is. But it's really important to stick to who you are and to let that shine through in what you're doing in business. So I definitely appreciate what you all are doing.
You're on mute again, Sydney.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Zoom.
That's only like 30 seconds.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I was like, oh no, did I just say everything and no one heard me? So I'm curious, what has, I want to dig a little bit deeper into like, what has your journey in business been like? And I would really like to start with Glow Gather, because I find your story fascinating. The little bit I had heard from Sarita. So I would love to hear some more about how did you all get started and what was that process like? Because you all aren't a conventional business, and I love that. So I would like to know more to inspire others who want to do something similar.
So obviously we're not conventional at all. We have 2 kids under the age of 18 running a business. It's quite hard sometimes because I'm pretty sure most of you haven't really seen kids owning a business before. And so when we go to these big markets and we do all of this stuff, people kind of look at us different. And I think from the very beginning, because I started this when I was 10, so his age. And so from the very beginning, it was quite hard for people to understand that we can have an actual conversation with you and know what you're talking about and talk with you back. But we did have to start slow and really get up to the point that we're at now. But I've always been an adult person. I love to talk to adults more than I like to talk to kids my age, because I think they have more of a story to tell than 13-year-olds. But I think that's kind of what helps our business be our business.
I will say that when we first started making the body butter for Carola's skin and the kids approached me with, we need to start this business, I was absolutely no. No, I'm good. Like, we're good. You know, we don't need to do this. And even to like, I think probably 6-8 months before we started, I mean, they were coming up with company names and I was still saying, nope, this is not going to happen. And then about 6 months later, here, you know, we were working on like a business plan and getting things ready to launch. And so they were very persistent and very persuasive. They really had the vision and knew what they wanted. And so it's been a fun, we'll be officially launched 3 years in May. And so it's been a really fun, interesting journey. I think we've obviously had our challenges, but we've also had a lot of fun with it. We're definitely on our own path because of who we are. I mean, 2 kids and myself. And between having 2 kids, myself, and then minority and 2 women, and I mean, there's just so many different pieces to the puzzle of our business. And I have epilepsy, and so that also throws in another piece to the business where like we also have to work around managing that. And so we're definitely on our own path and our own path of growth. What we've learned is like we have to stay true to our values. And so every time we start getting a little flustered or a little lost or we're like overwhelmed, we just go back to, wait, this is why we started it. This is our values. This is really what we want to focus on. And a lot of that is, you know, maintaining the high quality products, like why we want these products out there, what's the purpose of that, and then really our founding principles of social impact and sustainability. And so we come back to that, and fun. Like Jack said, it was always supposed to be fun. And so sometimes it gets to where it's not fun and we have to stop ourselves and remember that, wait, it was always supposed to be fun. But realize that we can't compare ourselves to anybody else or any other business or where they are on the curve, because we are blazing a different trail because of everything that, every piece of the puzzle of who we are. And so we give ourselves a lot of grace, a lot of patience, and just kind of go with it. And we've also had a lot of, because there are so many of us, like Jax has his very, like he loves the cooking line. Carola loves the body products line. You know, they'll tell you I'm in the background doing the taxes, which is true. But like, we also love like the creative development part is where we really find some joy in like creating the new products. And so we've had some real ability, because we are so diverse, to really have some fun, and everybody gets to do the part that they really enjoy. So sometimes people tell us we're too diverse, like we need to like narrow our product line because we have so much, but really we're doing what everybody loves. Carola loves her body products, Jax loves his cooking line, and I think we can bring it together. Like our tagline is "Glow to light your soul, gather to light the world," and so I think it brings both lines together really well for what we want to be able to do and accomplish.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, he does.
Unmute yourself. Yeah.
So, I think ups and downs we've had is definitely like what my sister said, is definitely being down talks because we're younger, and like people are like, oh, they're kids, they don't understand adults and like stuff like that. And then what I really try to do is like understand people and not judge them of like what they look like or where they come from, or their personality. I like to accept them for who they are. And it's a lot better because then they don't feel like they're being judged, and it's a more welcoming environment when we have our booths. So
I love that. I love that, Jax. And before we get to Cecelia, I think that's so important because as adults, we can become very judgmental, and we create these ideas and these stories about people before they even come up to us. You know, you could have a booth set up and you see folks coming, and I've had this happen to me before where, you know, I went to a farmer's market or whatever, and I was walking by a booth, and the person running the booth, it wasn't the owner, but whoever was representing the owner was like, oh, you probably wouldn't be interested in this or can't afford this, which is, which is completely inappropriate, right? And they lost my business, you know, and I made sure I was very vocal about it. I was like, I actually can't afford this. I was like, you know, we went to a whole different conversation that way, and I made a complaint, but they forever lost a customer. Because that assumption that because for whatever reason, I don't know if it was because I was young or because the color of my skin or what that might be, what it was, or if I was a woman, that I wouldn't be interested in what they were offering. And I actually was. I was very interested. I was actually headed that direction to learn more about the product and how I could buy it. And that just completely turned me off. So I appreciate you saying that about being open and willing to meet folks no matter who they are and how they come to you. So that's awesome.
Yeah. I'd just like to touch on that. Like, I came on here, sorry, Cecelia, I'm really excited. But I look at this panel and I think, wow, so many colors, so many different people who are just here to understand our story. And I think people learn how to judge, but they're not, like, they don't know how to judge when they're born. And I know that I do that a lot. I judge people, and that was my New Year's resolution. I was going to look at people and not see color. I was going to see the actual person, and I'm doing really well at it. But I'm really working on seeing a person as a person and not as something else.
Thank you. Amen. Cecelia, do you have anything to add? I would love to learn more about your journey and some of the things you've been doing.
Well, the journey, it's going to be different for each person. And the journey varies from year to year. Like the journey now, because of the situation, it has just really just pivot my journey here. And so I have to think and put on a different hat and think differently. And I think, as being an entrepreneur, that is a consistent part of being an entrepreneur. You're always changing, you're always pivoting. You always wake up to something that you didn't have to deal with before, and it becomes either an emergency or something on your to-do list. And throughout the process, when I first got started, of course, you're going to be just gung-ho, and you jump out there and you make a lot of mistakes. And I found that forgiving myself is the best way. And then I learned from all of the mistakes that I made. So, I welcome the mistakes. I mean, I don't like them. I try to keep them down, but I actually welcome the mistakes because it really opens my eyes to what I have done and what I can do better. And the different hats that we wear, I'm the owner and the sole employee. So I wear all of the hats. And the education that comes from wearing all of those hats is just tremendous. And so, and one of the things I did with Kit and Dart, with Karen, was to really evaluate the different to-do list and the different activities that I had to do, and look at which ones do I like, which ones don't you like. And I've never really sat down and just did that because I need to just get it done. And I'm the only person. After doing that, I realized that I can have more fun with this business. And I think, what they're saying about having fun is important. And I love to involve my family because they are one of the main reasons why I'm even, if you look at why, the real true why, for me, it's my family. And so I love sharing things with them and getting their feedback. And so my journey has just been, the typical entrepreneur. I love what I'm doing. I love sharing the information. I love communicating with the community. I love and I'm adding new products now. So it's growing. It's just, I'm retiring to work harder, and I love it. So yeah.
I can see the joy like on your face. Like you're so excited about what you do, and I love that. And I like what you were saying about, taking, I know what course you're talking about, the ABS course. I was helping to co-lead a different course than what you were in, or a different section. But it's very interesting to like take a look at like what brings me joy and what do I need to do? Because when you are a solopreneur, and I know a lot of folks listening right now are solopreneurs, you only have so much time in the day, right? And so, and your journey is always changing. I loved how you said that too, All of you are dropping like knowledge bombs. So I hope everybody has a pen and paper. Like, but really your journey it's not, you know, something where it's like year 1 and I'm done. No, like year 1 can look different from year 1.5 to year 3 to year 10. Like it's always changing. You're always evolving. And so I love that you brought that up. And both of you, both businesses brought up great points, and I would love to hear more with how you're dealing with COVID-19. This is a chance, I know it can be hard, but I would love for you to be honest and real with how have you been affected, and how has, you know, you having diverse products, actually, has it aided? Has it been a hindrance? What has that looked like for you? Anyone can start.
Well, the impact, of course, I mean, most of my sales in 2019 was direct sales. So I have to change the communication process that I have for my sales. I don't have, this is something I was going to do anyway. And so it's just made it so that I'm moving faster now. But I really do miss the face-to-face, the reactions, the body language, and learning what I did in 2019 from my customers. And some of the events that I went to, this would be the 3rd year, and they're expecting me to be there. I can tell because in the 2nd year, they were like, "Oh, I was so hoping you were going to be here again. I need more product." So there are certain events that I really want to be consistent with out in the community for my purposes to grow and to just keep that relationship going, but also, you know, to, you know, for branding. So yeah, the impact is really tough when I don't have that face to face and the Healthy Me parties and the education piece on it. So I've had to hire in other entrepreneurs to support me in this change, another change, to make my business more visible. And then as far as the diversification in my product, so I have the clay, which is in a powder form, and that's the way my initial products were. Just I had a variety of clays, the green, the bentonite. I have a clay blend that I've put together just for sensitive skin. And then I had the tool, the mixing tool and the storing tool, the kneader, to go with it. As I was out there in 2019 interacting with my customers, there was a lot of people that say, "I just don't want to be a mixologist. I don't want to mix it. I really want to grab and go. I want it in the shower, ready to go when I need it." And I love to have clay mixed with other products. And so I took that and I'm running with it, but it's all related to deep cleaning the skin and hair. Have a body wash, a clay cream body wash, which has a soft steel soap in. So it complements the clay, or you can have the deep cleaning of the clay inside the body wash as well. And I've also added this wonderful body scrub bar, which is it's a mixture of clay, of course, with a soap bar that has coffee grounds in it. So you can really have a exfoliation effect for the entire body. I have 2 new products also coming out this year. One would be an exfoliator for the face, which is a clay cream, and also a 2-minute body mask. So the thing about clay is that you can use it from head to toe. You can bathe with it on a daily basis. It is your soap. And what that does is it prevents you from adding perfumes and other toxic ingredients or ingredients that you really don't need to clean your body. And then also you're putting the minerals in. But if you have cuts or bruises or cuts or bites or a rash, the bentonite clay or the clays will help to heal those. So you can see how the product can meet different from hair to feet. The clay can help with your body. So I wanted to reach more and have the opportunity to educate more people, even the ones who are too busy to mix with the meter. Or so that generated more products of diversification in ClayLove. And I'm still learning more about how to do that and how to do it well enough for wholesale and grow that different revenue line. So I'm excited about it. This is going to be a fantastic year for ClayLove.
Awesome.
Despite COVID-19.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just hearing that's great because, you know, it's kind of, it's very, it's sad. Just, I have a lot of friends that are entrepreneurs and it's sad, but it's always great to have some positive news. So I'm happy to hear that. How about you, Glow Gather? What's going on with you all and COVID, and how have you been?
I think, you know, it's been, in some ways, it's been really great. I think what's happened is, like, I've seen a lot of small businesses come together to really support each other through this. And so that has been really great for us, for other small businesses. So that part of it, I mean, we've always, you know, been about supporting small businesses, but I think what I've seen is every small business kind of really steps up to find ways to help support each other through this and see what everybody can do together, and more partnerships are actually forming, which has been really nice. And so in that way, it's been a benefit, I think. And then also for us, we've been able to work on stuff that we've put on the back burner for a long time. So it's given us that opportunity to really start bringing some of that stuff forward. Like, what have we been wanting to do that we haven't had time to do, or we just haven't had a chance to look at? And because we do have so many, 2 different lines, you know, we've been able to do, and I'll let Jack talk about this a little bit more, but he's our recipe creator and mixologist. And so he's really been doing a great job about adapt from home, easy to make recipes. And then Carola's really been working on, like, make from home kits for salts and stuff. And so really taking that and, like, really putting a positive message out there on our social media about, you know, let's stay at home, we're home, but let's enjoy the simple pleasures of being at home and gathering together and reconnecting with each other in a different way as we all, like, try to support our community and take care of each other. And so it's been, we've been able to take who we are and just enhance that message and take our products and use it to promote that message. We've also been able to create some new products during this time, which has been fun because we haven't had much time for that part that we enjoy so much, which is the creative development. And so we've gotten some fun new ideas out of that too. So while, yes, it's been hard with some of the retail stores closed, and you know, we were actually just, one of our products was just mentioned in the April 5280 magazine for the Ultimate Insider's Guide to Denver. And we were just kind of like, well, this is great. I mean, it's so super exciting, but nobody cares right now because everybody's focused on the virus, you know? But it was like, so it's just one of those things, like, had it happened at a different time, it would have probably gotten a lot more attention, but now everybody's like, oh, who cares? But so, like, things like that, where it would have probably been better publicity, like, not publicity, but, you know, people would have cared more probably, or read the article, where now everybody's just focused on reading stuff about COVID. But I think in the long run, it's actually, for me, I see a lot of positives coming out of it. Carola?
So I think that I'm obviously in school. I'm in 8th grade, and I do suffer from migraines, which is weird, kind of seizures and migraines. So we've had to adapt to that. But I like to call a school from home, and I would have to do that once or twice a week because I couldn't handle being actually at school. So I had gotten the hang of doing stuff at school, which means that I would have more time to do posts, to think about product, to just be involved. Like, this whole past weekend from Friday to Monday has been all Glow and Gather, and it's been crazy because I haven't been to another person's house in months, and I'm a super social person, so my little social person's been shrinking and I've been quite dying. So felt nice to be out and do what I loved and make product for other people, and I thought that was important to do and to understand. And I got to click with my aunt because, I mean, we are still family, so we had to really figure out, like, hey, we're gonna have fun together, but we're also gonna focus on the business. So that's been something nice about COVID. I haven't had that time with her in a while. Jax?
Yeah, just to go off of my sister. So like, yeah, it's like been shrinking, like what socially person I have in me. Because I can't really talk to anybody, and if it is talking, it's over FaceTime. And it's helped me because I get to like create easy products, because one of our big things is people don't know how to make food sometimes. Like they don't know how to make eggs or something else like that. So we are posting other stuff. But for recipes, like we had done this biscuit recipe, I think is in the making. So we're doing a biscuit recipe with our tomato salt. And so it's really easy. It takes like 30 minutes and then you have a nice little biscuit all to yourself. So it's been really easy, ups and downs through this time, but it's easy to find the positive if you look far enough in.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to ask you too, Jax, because I know you're in charge of kind of like the food department, and I saw that you all are doing like kits that folks can do at home, right? Can you explain that a little bit more and like how that idea came up?
So like people have been posting like other stuff on Instagram, like help, I don't know how to make food or something like that. So we were like, let's put together a kit to help people make food. So we put together some salt and a couple of recipes of our food, recipes on food and a drink recipe, and we've added a couple more things. So that's been like part of that.
That's awesome. They look delicious too. I saw them online and I was like, ooh, this looks good. And it's funny, you know, something that I noticed that COVID did bring up is that there are a lot of folks out there who don't know how to do the basics, like cook or clean or anything. So it's really nice that you all were able to step in and help, you know, folks in the community out in that way. I know for my business, and we're going to talk, so I have another discussion coming up next month, and it's going to be geared around social capital, or I like to say strategic partnerships. And so it sounds like you all have been getting more involved in that, and I'll save that for another day. But I know for myself, something that I've had to do, right, with travel and event planning, not doing too hot right now, as many of you can imagine, is really focus and, like Cecelia said, accelerate myself in areas that I haven't, or even Sarita, you said you got to look back at things you've been wanting to create and actually create those things. And it's really been like a pressure cooker. Where, you know, I've been able to push myself into areas that I normally would have taken months or even maybe a year or years to get to. So on the positive front, even though, yes, one part of my business is suffering because I've diversified the products that I offer as a person and the services I offer, it's definitely pushed me as a business owner. And I talk about that too, you know, fight, flight, or freeze. Right now, it's either you freeze and you just kind of are stuck, which is where it's great to have community partners around you to help push you and get you innovated, or to have how, you know, Glow and Gather, you all are a partnership of 3. You all can motivate each other. Either you flight, you fold up, you close, or you fight, and you really try to figure out a way to make it through this. So thank you all for being honest and open with that question. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Something I wanted to ask is, like I mentioned at the very beginning, I like doing this talk with folks who are impact-driven entrepreneurs, and you all did a great job of already sprinkling throughout our talk, how you give back to the community. But I would love to just find out some more with how you give back, whether it's socially, environmentally, economically, to your community, and what that looks like for your business.
Okay. So before all this COVID stuff, we used to go to a food bank and give food to people in need, and every year, I think, we give 10% of our sales to a certain charity. So I think this year we're doing
Well, this year we're changing it up a little bit more because we're doing a monthly charity, and we realized, again, we're so much about community partnerships that we want to make it a little bit more partner driven than just 10% to random charities every month. And so we're focusing more on creating those partnerships. One of our big things that we do every year is celebrate Diwali, which is our big Indian holiday in the fall every year, fall, winter. But what we've done with that is also community partnership. Again, we've partnered with Safe House Denver, which is domestic violence shelter. And so it's twofold. We bring in the community to bring out our culture and teach about our culture and our food and everything, but it's also a partnership with Safe House Denver, and we raise money and food and toiletries for them. And so it's just a nice way to, that's our big annual Glow and Gather and plus our Parikh family fundraiser party is celebration event. Instead of hosting a Christmas party, we'll host a Diwali party. And then as for COVID right now, what we're doing is for every order, we are donating food either to Safe House or to a local food bank, since there's such a shortage at both places right now with food. And then we are also partnering with another local female business owner, and we're putting together self-care packages for frontline workers and donating them to frontline workers. So it's going to have our salves in it for their hands and their faces, for all their wounds from all the PPE, and then some protection for their ears and stuff, and then donating that. So it's a little bit of what we do. And then of course with the environment, everything we do is non-toxic. We try to use solar power when we can. We use upcycled wine bottles for our candles and our glasses, recycle and compost when we can, or recycle everything, compost as much as we can. So that we've got a lot of stuff going on the environmental front too, and use local suppliers and vendors as much as possible. Carola, anything to add? Oh, well, Carola, actually you should talk about your diversity and inclusion panel, because that's a big one too. Or not.
The computer's acting up. Haha, sorry. So we were talking way before this panel. When was this? I don't actually remember, but I was talking and I was like, I know that I've experienced racism because I'm a biracial kid. There's many different comments, but I know that it gets to me and that I've had to learn how to show that it doesn't quite affect me when it does, or come back with comments that wouldn't get me in trouble, which it's annoying because I wish it wouldn't get me in trouble, but it would, and it happens at school because I'm at a mostly white school. And so I was talking to her and I was like, why don't we just gather a bunch of people and they'll talk in a non-hating environment about about being different colors, and have all these different colors and races and sexualities and all of that, and just come together to just have a calm discussion as a panel and just talk about it.
I want to comment off of that. Cause like, for me, like kind of like her, I'm mostly white school, and and so I get bullied because of my race too. Cause a lot of people, cause I tell people like I'm not allowed to have red meat, and so one day our class was having the lunch for pork, and then like they threw it at me. So yeah, never mind.
Yeah, you've been through it, but I think people harass you and do the things they do because they don't quite understand it. And I think the understanding part is what people need to talk about.
Thank you so much, both of you, for sharing. Well, all three of you for sharing, because that, first off, I can truly tell that, making an impact in the community is part of your core. And, Jax, you just sharing your experience and what had happened to you, it takes a lot. And so I appreciate that. And you too, I think the panel would be amazing, and I would love to talk to you about it. Sometimes your aunt actually told me, she's like, we want to do a panel. And I was like, hit me up and we will talk about getting it started, because I want that for you too. There's enough space for us all to make a difference in this world. And Cecelia, before you answer, I know there's a couple of people who had mentioned they have to scoot early. So for anybody who does have to leave early, I actually have a survey that I posted in the group chat. So if you all don't mind, please, copy and paste that to your website browser and complete the survey. That's how this event's completely free. Obviously, you all are here, and the only thing that I do ask for in exchange is just your feedback, not only so we can know how to improve if there ever needs to be an improvement, but then also so our panelists can get in contact with you if you would like more information from them or to join their email list. So please make sure to fill that out, and we're going to continue because I know we're scheduled to go for another half an hour. So just wanted to make sure that I put that out there. Please do the survey. So let's continue though. Cecelia, how about you? Can you share a little bit more? I know you were saying you do the community parties and do a lot of education. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Well, one of the things I've been doing is participating in the local farmers markets. The one at the Dahlia Center. They had a bigger turnout last year, and I was there regularly. Also, the indoor farmers market, the co-ops that are around, these places are focused on living healthy. And so by me being there and handing out samples, it just helps the cohesiveness of the community in relationship to being healthy. One of the things that I'm doing this year is looking at my packaging. I would like for my packaging to be more earth friendly. And so I have, during this time when, we can't go out and do the direct sales, it's giving me, like you said, more time to shift in another direction. So I'm working with a company to help me with the packaging. And that's been an objective of mine from the beginning, is to make sure I have something that's helping the earth and not taking away from the beauty of the earth. So those are the two main things that I'm looking at that's for the community, that is part of my heart, is making sure that I do my part in my business. And there's just more and more that can be done. There really is. So.
I love that. And you bring up a great point. I know a lot of folks will start a business and then they get to a point where they're like, oh, it's too late. Like, I've already started, like there's nothing I can change or do. And even the fact that you're sitting down right now to look at your packaging and make that change is huge. And so I commend you for doing that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Amazing
So,
person.
oh, did someone have to say? Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that Celia is amazing. She's so sweet, and I love her. I love her brand. I love everything she does. I'm like infatuated with you.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. So sweet.
I'm infatuated with all of you, to be honest. I'm like, this is awesome. You all are awesome. I think, yeah, we're towards the end of my questions. And so what I'm going to do is actually, before we open it up to Q&A, I would like for you all, if you have any wisdom for the folks that are on the line, assuming that they're entrepreneurs, right? What advice would you give them?
I would say just keep pushing forward. Even through the ups and downs, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and it'll get better. So.
I think that for everybody who's in a business, wanting to start a business, that obviously there's going to be money troubles, and you're going to have to push through those and take loans and do all of that. But in the end, it's worth it because of the connections you're going to make and the things you're going to do for others and the environment. And you might think you don't have an impact now, but you're going to impact so many people, and you don't even realize it if you just get out there and do what you love.
I agree.
I was going to say, just stay true to who you are and your values and your mission, and have patience, be flexible, adapt, and yeah, there was one more, but I can't remember. So that's what I'm going to say. I think they covered it. Oh, and give yourself grace. Give yourself lots of grace. Yeah.
I think I would just add to that is that I think where the strength and to not listen to that little voice, and also to tune out voices that are not supportive, because sometimes that can change your drive and affect how you work in your business. So there are so many people out there that want you to be successful and are very supportive, and those are the people you want to gravitate to, because there's always the opposite individual out there. And so if you can control that voice, every time you make a mistake or every time you find something that it just isn't right, controlling that voice is going to really help you to stay strong through all the peaks and valleys that you have with being an entrepreneur. And I kind of welcome it, because now that I've had a lot of peaks and valleys, I've learned a lot, and that's where my growth comes from. And I'm doing this to share this with my family, and to give them, if we think about it, evolution is what's going to change the culture of African Americans. It's a big change over time from the perception that has been out there to what the true perception is, or what it can be. And the more we do to educate our family, to give them an opportunity to see what's available out there through experience, I think is the most gift you can give your family. And that's my driver. So as I said before, but yeah, to deal with those peaks and valleys and not be controlled by that little voice is the best gift you can have, to be strong in your business.
I love that. Thank you all. And I know the one piece of advice that I would get is to stay consistent. And that doesn't mean to not be aware of, when you need to make a change or when something's not working, right? What I mean is just stay consistent with your business. We each have hard days where there are some days, especially I've personally experienced during COVID, where I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just don't even want to get near the computer today. But I've set a goal for myself to do one thing a day, like business day for my business. And even with my travel business, not being able to sell travel, nor would I want to sell travel right now to anyone, because I care about the health and safety of my clients. Just being innovative and figuring out a way to get in front of them and stay relevant, right? Even though I'm not making money right now on that particular business, I'm still staying relevant. And I actually have folks who are reaching out to me and saying, hey, when can I travel now? Can you book me now? And I'm like, no. But that feels good, right? To know that people know who I am and I'm staying in their minds. Even if it's not working out for you right at this moment, think of ways you can pivot your business and to stay relevant. That would be my advice for everyone. So thank you to my amazing panelists for being here. Like I said, if you can, please fill out the survey. It gives us feedback on, who you want to connect with. So if you want to connect with Glow Gather, their name's on there. If you want to connect with ClayLove, Cecilia's business name is on there. If you want to connect with me, and learn more about my travel business or what I do with Kite and Dart, that information's on there as well. And we'll definitely make sure to connect with you. And now we're going to move into some open questions. So now's the time for Q&A. So feel free to ask questions. You can either unmute yourself or you could type them in if any questions come up.
Anybody?
Let's see, we're getting some comments in saying, thank you all so much. You've each inspired me. Let's see. Oh, you all are just saying thank you. Any questions at all before we hop off?
I have one question for the young kid entrepreneurs. I actually have my kids that are actually watching in as well. And so if they actually, let's say, had any ideas and, or what advice would you give to them as young kids as well? Like just if they, just in general, I guess, if they wanted to follow in your path or footsteps to be a business owner, like kids talking to kids.
That's a good question. I'm glad your kids are watching. Hi, I can't see you. I'm Carola. No matter what age you are, your ideas are valid. Don't let anybody tell you they aren't, because I've had that. If somebody says that you can't do it, don't listen to them. If somebody underestimates your age and what you're doing, that's their issue. You are a person. Look at all these people. They're supporting us. That one person is not going to impact you. So focus on what you're doing, because I know that your dad is probably going to support you throughout the whole thing. And people are going to love your idea and what you have to do. So I feel like I'm a broken record. Sorry, but don't listen to anybody. Be your own person, because it will come in handy.
Great advice.
I would just say be persistent. Don't listen to anybody. Kind of tagging along to my sister. Listen to good advice. Because I know I've listened to a lot of advice from people who are very trustworthy. And they supported me. And they gave me ideas. So that's what I would say.
Thank you both. And to follow up to that question, I don't know if Sarita, you could answer this, or either one of you could, but and Bruce said thank you. I want to know, what resources did you use to get started? Because like when I was a kid, we had Young Americans Bank in Denver, which is still around. So I love Young Americans Bank. If there's kids out there that don't know about Young Americans Bank, Young Americans Town, like you need to fix your life and find them. And they have 2 branches, one in Cherry Creek off of First Street and one out in Green Valley Ranch that's brand new. But yes, anyway, after I promoted them, gave them a free plug.
Yeah, we used them. We used
Yeah.
them. They helped us start out. They were wonderful.
Oh, really?
They were one of
supported
the
us.
starter. Yeah.
They supported us. We love them. I was in one of their commercials because I was mayor there too.
You were?
So,
you were there? Oh, I'm jealous.
yeah, I'm very proud of that moment in my life. But yeah, I was in their commercials and we just love them. The vice president, she's so sweet. The president, he's amazing. So we're very infatuated with them as well.
Yeah, definitely.
They're a good resource for any kid.
I have a question for you too. So running the business in school, what's your time like? How much of your pleasure time is taken away because you're running this business, and how do you deal with that and your friends?
So he is the social butterfly. I am the social butterfly at school. But people tend to think that since we're kids, lots of opportunities are taken away from us to spend time with our friends. And I did not think that at all. I chose to be in this business. I chose to be in this. And I think the one time that I had a compromise on something was during the Christmas season. And Christmas season is crazy because they're from like Thanksgiving until Christmas. Like it is back to back to back to back to back weekends of just all this craziness because we choose that. And that is our choice. And we talk with Foy and we decide like this is something we're going to do. So balancing our time and our social life and school and business is our choice and what matters we want. And I think it's important for people to know that we don't give up opportunities. They're given to us and we choose to take them or not.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of tag along. It's actually not, it doesn't take as much time as you think from our social life, because you get to you hang out with friends at school, well, not because of the coronavirus. And so you kind of get that, and you get to plan with them what days you can't and what days you can hang out. And it's very easy because as kids we have activities to do like soccer and football, so they all understand that. And so it's very easy to like associate to your friends like, hey, I have to do this for my business. At first they don't believe me, but they get to it.
Your friends selling my friends.
Yeah, I think with kids, they're more curious about what you do. And since we have a website, they like to check it out. But I think they're more understanding than adults. And I hate to say that, but I know it's true because they're more curious and open to ideas because haven't been taught otherwise yet.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions?
Any questions?
You know, I have a question for you, Cecelia. When we first met, you were actually headed on your way to Essence Fest, which is am I correct? You were going to Essence Fest?
Yes.
Yeah, which is like a huge, huge arena. For folks that don't know what Essence Fest is, it is it's put on by Essence Magazine, which is a magazine for Black women. And it's in New Orleans every year, and it's huge. I mean, they have speakers. They had Michelle Obama, and they have all these concerts, and it's amazing. So what was it like to go to an arena that large and be around a marketplace that big? What was that like?
Well, it was overwhelming. It was huge. I've never seen that many Black people in one place at one time. I mean, I live in Colorado, so we're kind of spread out here. You don't see that much, but it's inspiring as well to see all the different businesses that were there and the opportunity and the support that you have from that community was just amazing. So I learned a lot. I shared. I picked up I feel like they're lifetime customers from there. even though they're, you know, and you realize that when you're there, everyone's from all over. So when you talk to someone, you know, it could be East Coast, West Coast, or just all over, all in one place. And many, many women entrepreneurs that were there. So it was just a fun and exciting event to be part of. And I think they canceled it this year.
They did.
At least I don't. Is it canceled?
It's canceled this year
Yeah,
for the first time.
canceled.
Yeah.
For the first time in many, many years. But New Orleans is really have been affected heavily with the COVID-19. So it makes sense. And that's where they normally have it every year. But it's an experience. I think if you have that opportunity to experience something on that level, that you should at least do it once, because it's different. It's different, and it's super exciting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, Sarita, I know, I mean, what a wild ride, right? Like your niece and nephew come up to you and say, I want to start a business. And you're like, okay. And then finally you realize, like, whoa, like they're serious about this. So I kind of want to dig really quick a little bit deeper into that, just because to kind of go to Bruce's question earlier, you know, to inspire kids, what would you do to, or how would you inspire, or what would you say to someone who has a kid in their life who wants to be a business owner, that has an entrepreneurial spirit? Yeah, like what advice can you give?
I would say, I think if you do have a kid that has an idea and wants to start a business, absolutely you should support them. You know, and I think to your point, Young Americans is a great place to start for kids. Like depending, like, right, if you're willing, if you want to start it with them, like we did, that's one way to go. But if you want them to just do it on their own, Young Americans is a great place to start. They were very persuasive. It was a perfect time in my life too. I was a pediatric physical therapist for like 20 years, and I had my own private practice. And so one of the reasons I kept saying no was I had this private practice that I had for 15 years, and that was what I was doing. And then I was burnt out on healthcare and shut down my private practice. And I still wasn't going to be this. Like, I just wasn't like, oh, retail. Like, what do I know about retail, manufacturing and retail? But they were very persuasive. And all of a sudden, like, they've been planting that seed for so many years that all of a sudden I'm like, yes, like, this is actually a really great idea. Let's, you know, we have the a couple basic products down. Jaxon's line actually didn't launch and start until we started. We didn't actually have that in mind at all yet. It was Carola's stuff. And so we just, I mean, I can honestly say we didn't know what we were doing. Yeah. I don't know, you know, we didn't know anything about retail and manufacturing. There's a lot of good information that you can research online and figure out what licenses you need and what you need to do to get started. We are completely self-funded. We're bootstrapping it all. So as far as, you know, getting loans and investors and stuff, we're not doing that because we want to have complete control as far as investors. And so if you're willing as a parent to, your kids
or as an aunt
idea, or an aunt, have a valid idea that you really feel good about, and you can see like the big picture, support it and go for it. And there's a lot of really good resources out there. I mean, we did a lot of research on the as far as the products, as far as licensing, networking, and we had the plan of what was our foundation, our why. You know, that was it. Like, what's our why? And from the very beginning, it went beyond just the product. Like, it was always the impact that we could make too.
I love that. And we have a question that came through, but really quick, I want to say that I really like how you just said, just get started. Like, you are not an expert in business, and not saying you're not now, but there's always something. Yeah, I'm like, I'm not an expert in business either. There's always something changing. There's all these different methods. And so it's just getting started. And I know, especially when I work with entrepreneurs at the Kite and Dart group, we talk a lot about how folks get hung up on perfectionism. Like, this needs to be perfect. And if you wait for perfect, you will never get started. So
when we launched, we didn't even officially have like official labels. We were printing them on my home computer for our body products. Like, we didn't have the like pretty labels. I mean, we just started like, this is what we have. And then we slowly built onto, you know, like, yeah, we didn't wait for perfect.
I love it. So Cecelia was asking you actually, Sarita, how much of your time is needed for the business?
Well, this is my full-time gig at this point, for the most part. And it's hard to gauge time because, like I said, we are on a different trajectory. I have to manage my epilepsy. Like, the kids work when they can. We coordinate who does what. So we all have our jobs to do. And we have scheduled work days where Carola will be making products or Jax will be creating stuff, recipes. So it's divided up. It's not a traditional, I'm working every day from 9 to 5, 40 hours a week or 60 hours a week. And, you know, and like I said, we have learned to give a lot of grace between Carola's migraines, my seizures. Like, some days, like, nothing gets done because I've had a seizure and I'm sleeping the rest of the day or something. And so it's really hard to gauge how much time, but that is one of the nice things about having this family-run business, is that we are able to have that flexibility.
Awesome.
And we know when somebody
coordinate around everything and just work when we can and have to. But then when we have to get a big order out, like we did, like Carola said, we were working all weekend to get a big order out on Monday. Or no, on Tuesday, right? It had to be out on Tuesday. So, I mean, we worked all and got it done.
Yeah, well, luckily you have family to be like, you can't work, you can't do basic 3rd grade math, you should not be doing this right now. Yeah. And thank goodness for Google. Like, I finally got her little Google Home Mini because we have a ton in our house. Because I can't do basic math or talk when I have a migraine, let alone when she has a seizure. She can't do 3rd grade math.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and it's really nice that you have the support of each other as a unit. And that is a big difference. I know, speaking as a solopreneur, I had to find a community that can, you know, I could work with, and that jived with me. But it's nice that you have that already built into your business and that understanding and patience. So that's awesome. Carola had a question for Cecelia actually too. How do you track? So how did you get to Essence Fest with all of your product? Like, what did you do?
We had to package it up and make it so that it could stack on a crate. And so I did all of the boxing and packaging, and then we drove to a shipping yard and a freight company and had it shipped to a spot that was designated for the Essence Festival. So it's like a big warehouse. And then on the day that we can start setting up, the freight company would bring the product to the location where I am. So I had to start months in advance planning and getting it set up to ship, and working with the freight company. And it actually went very smooth. The only hiccup was that the freight company didn't know exactly, they had crossed their communication, and so they didn't ship it out exactly when I wanted. So I got it not too far from the time it was the event was opening up, which made us really scramble. And luckily I have family with me to help me out, my husband and a couple other people to help me get set up very quickly. But it was, you know, it's cost per pound, and so it was a little expensive. But if you're going to an event that size, then you should be able to, you know, earn the money back to cover the cost for it. But Yeah, it was different.
I'm curious too, along those same lines, how do you know how much product to take, right? Like, do you do pre-orders, or I'm just curious, and now I'm getting all in your business, but
pre-orders would have been nice, but it wasn't feasible.
Okay.
You can't reach the people to get those pre-orders. You don't know who's going to be there.
Yeah.
And you don't have an avenue to do that on. It would be really nice if they made a platform for that, but there wasn't one. So you talk to the person that you're working with to say, okay, in the area that you're in, what kind of flow are you anticipating? And you know, one of the things they look at is samples, because a lot of people come there for samples. So how many samples do you have? You need to have it, you know, this number of samples to hand out. So you kind of just get the information from them and then make a decision based on your budget is what I did.
Oh, awesome. So talked with and that makes sense. I've done trade shows before, before I was an entrepreneur, and we spoke with the coordinator, the expo coordinator, and we did something similar. Although I didn't have an actual product, it was a service.
Right.
So we got away with not having to ship and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah. Awesome. Lucky. Any other questions before we all hop off?
No, but I do want to say thank you, Sydney. The last one that I went to, when people were there, you had filled the room. I imagine on an internet platform, it's even a little bit harder to reach people, but I think you're off to a great start, and I look forward to you know, looking and watching some of your other panels and events that you put together online. So.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for setting this up, though.
Yeah. Well, and you all, just so you know, this is being recorded. So, folks, yeah. So,
oh, I see it.
Okay, now I see it. Yeah.
So you'll be able to share this too with your network. And if any of our listeners want this information, you know, complete the survey, and I'll definitely make sure to include the link, you know, when I send a thank you for joining us type thing. And you can share it with your network, and hopefully that'll get the information out on both businesses a little bit more. And I do have a Facebook group too, called Entrepreneurs of Color community, and I post all of these videos along with some other inspirational videos with entrepreneurs. I do like weekly 10-minute, 15-minute inspirational talks with entrepreneurs. So that's a great resource too. So thank you all for your time. I know, you know, you could have been eating pizza right now or something. I don't know. So I appreciate you for being here. And I want to tell everyone a happy Earth Day. I should have started off saying that, but I'm the day saying that. Happy Earth Day. I'm so proud and blessed to be able to feature impact-driven entrepreneurs who are making a difference in this world. And Earth Day is a great day to be doing this. So thank you all, and I hope you have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Nice meeting everyone.